And we'll keep growing this list. Maybe next year we'll have, oh, I thought you were coming in for a kiss. You got so close.
Just trail mix.
Just kind of hot. Hello, I'm Catherine.
And I'm Brian.
And when you skim a list of date night meals, lots of seafood comes up, rich foods, creamy pastas. But if you're looking for vegan date night meals, there's no reason they still can't be delicious and impressive.
So we're gonna give you main dishes, we're gonna give you desserts, and we're gonna kick in a little cheeky one as well.
Oh, watch and find out what that one is. So here's our top 5 vegan date night meals.
Our first vegan date night recipe idea is
our extra creamy vegan mushroom risotto.
so good, so creamy, so yummy.
It ticks the rich box, the creamy box. It's something that you don't make all the time. Risotto's not really a weeknight meal because it takes a little bit longer to prepare. So it just feels like you put some extra attention into it. Your flavors can be a little more interesting. So this one has gourmet mushrooms and has caramelized onion and like you're taking the time to just caramelize some onion and garlic. And there's some spinach in there for greens, so it looks really pretty.
And the fun thing about risotto is, you know, it checks the tasty box, it checks the thrifty box, sort of weekly checks the timely box. But what you lack for in how long it takes to make, you make up for in time you can spend together in the kitchen. In last week's video, when we made the risotto, we made it together. We had a lot of fun. As Catherine said, we had canoodling time. There was some canoodling.
You just get to stir together. It's very like ghost pottery moment, like, you know. And it's a dainty dinner. That's the other thing I like about risotto for a date night. It's easy to eat. You're not gonna be chewing forever and like trying to talk in between.
Stuff's not getting stuck in your teeth.
Yeah, I think it's just soft and it's just easy to eat. There's a time for messy. I'm all for just having a messy sandwich that's like, you know, saucy. And
Risotto's not one of those dishes. The other great thing about the risotto though is for a date night is that it's a cheap date night.
Yeah, that particular recipe makes 4 servings is about $10. So as far as it has gourmet mushrooms in it. It looks really pretty. So as far as a fancier meal goes, that's still pretty thrifty.
Cheap date nights are great because you can have more of them.
Oh, that's one way to put it.
What?
No, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
That's a good way to,
yeah.
Yeah, and then you can
make every night. Oh, you wouldn't make every night a date night, but
you don't.
You could. Like sometimes life is busy and you just got to get things done. But
I see. Date night recipe number 2 is another delicious main dish. It is
our vegan scallops.
Oh, so good. And we haven't had these in a while because again, they're a special meal. They're a treat. They're a date night, which apparently we're not having very many of.
I'll try them again soon because I do want to try these vegan scallops on like a pasta. That's something I've been meaning to try. Sort of like a lemony, like spaghettini
almost
or
like
something.
a tofu Alfredo.
Yeah.
Which I think should be an honorable mention. I know it's not on this list, but a tofu Alfredo, I always think Alfredo is a date night kind of recipe. So
again, creamy, richer.
Saucy. But that Alfredo I think would be great. And you could put these mushroom scallops in the Alfredo, or you could have them just like they are in this recipe on a parsnip puree with some candied nuts. Oh, so good.
Yeah, this one, again, it's kind of those attention to detail recipes for a date night. There's a little more garnishing that goes on. King oyster mushrooms are a great vegan scallop alternative because they're really big, so they're the perfect size for those kind of jumbo scallops. You can slice them into rounds, marinate them overnight really simply, and then when you cook them in some butter, they get all like nice and browned like scallops do. And they're so soft and succulent and delicious. Some good adjectives in this one. Succulent.
Succulent, soft.
And I serve these on a parsnip puree, which seems very fancy.
Yeah.
But it's very simple to make. 15 minutes, 1 pot, some parsnip, some cashews. I think there's some onion in there and plant milk. And you just boil it and then puree it. It's more of like you would see that on a menu somewhere. Parsnip puree.
Like the risotto, I think these mushroom scallops are another one where it's like you can really impress that date. Wow, look at what I made. People tell you you can't eat fancy, decadent, rich, creamy, saucy, insert whatever adjective vegan meals. Tell them they're wrong and show them these 2 main dishes because they are showstoppers. They're delicious.
And this won't take forever to make either because all of these components can be made ahead. The scallops are really simple. The mushroom scallops, you just marinate them overnight and then they cook up in a pan in probably 10 minutes maybe. The parsnip puree, like I said, 1 pot, 15 minutes. Then I put some quinoa on top for a little bit of extra protein. You can cook quinoa in 15 minutes. And then there's a candied walnut crumble around the edges, which is is nice. It adds a bit of just sweetness to balance out the rich flavors. Candied walnuts can be made in 5 minutes. So you can make your components in advance, and then when you go to cook the mushrooms, just heat up the puree and the quinoa, and then you can just garnish it all and serve it up. I mean, and it's like it was nothing.
So therefore you could have more date nights. Those two main dishes are making me so hungry. I'm so glad we got some trail mix here. We got some cheese and crackers. And speaking of cheese and crackers, number 3 is our charcuterie board.
That's not what I had. It's number 3, but it's a good number 3.
Oh, it isn't?
No.
What number is the charcuterie board?
I don't have a charcuterie board on this list. It's only 5. There was a limited space.
Well,
but it's an honorable mention.
Honorable mention is our tofu cheeses. Talk about it a little bit.
I'd moved on to dessert, so I was ready to give you a dessert.
Well, if you need an appetizer, in December we put out 2 tofu cheeses, and they pair perfectly with our seed crackers, which have a nice... Sorry, I don't want to get crumbs down your shirt.
I think you can hear that. That's what he was trying to do. I'm just, you don't just snap crackers at me.
The charcuterie board is so simple. You make those cheeses just in a blender. They firm up in the fridge. You can have them right away. They'll be a little softer, or they firm up in the fridge. And I love a charcuterie board for a date night. There's been some New Year's Eve, some special nights where you and I just like have some vegan cheese and some grapes, and we'll watch a movie or
it's fun.
Play some Scrabble. Because we play a lot of Scrabble, and the charcuterie board would be a great option for a date night, I think. Catherine doesn't think so because it didn't make the list.
Think
Catherine
so.
also doesn't think we should have very many date nights. So I don't know why I was surprised that you just jumped right to desserts, because desserts are your favorite thing. So with that being said, recipe number 3 is...
a chocolate mousse dessert for 2.
Ooh, very good.
And this I actually made in the same video that we make the vegan scallops. I used to call it a terrarium because it was actually based on a recipe or a dessert that we got from a restaurant we liked in Toronto. And they called this sort of dessert a terrarium. And then I realized that that's not the most searchable title for a recipe, and it also sounds a little weird for something you're gonna eat. So I changed it to chocolate mousse dessert. All it is a chocolate avocado pudding that when you refrigerate the pudding, it turns into a much more mousse-like texture. So it's a layer of that, and then a tart cherry sauce, and then a toasted hazelnut and oat crumble, and then I just garnish it with my coconut whipped cream, some dried goji berries, some mint leaves, or you can garnish it however you like. And it's pretty decadent.
Ooh, very decadent. Yeah, I mean, you're meant to, it's for 2. You share it for 2.
Yeah, it's fun to kind of make it in one bowl and have it be something you can share, but you could also just style it differently and make it like individual parfaits, because you have all the components made. You can make them all in advance. So again, it's pretty simple to prepare, even though there's multiple elements to it, but you could make them in little parfait cups and do like a layer of the pudding, then a layer of the cherries, then, I don't know, some oat crumble on top of that, then some more pudding, then some whipped cream or something.
It's really similar to a video we just put out on Thursday, which is a chocolate avocado pudding, but that's all it is. It's just the avocado and chocolate, and it's sort of like the weeknight version of this more decadent mousse for 2.
But it still looks really pretty. So if you wanted to simplify it and just do the pudding and maybe the whipped cream,
then we have a recipe for that too.
You could do that one.
But that's
the cherries.
Oh, we got some good like slow-mo.
It's really tasty.
We should have it on some date night.
Is he getting his point across?
Recipe number 4, don't know what it is because I don't know what any of these are now, because I thought there was a charcuterie board on there. So what's number 4?
Well, maybe you can guess. I take the chocolate and the cherries and the whipped cream just up a notch.
Oh, our Black Forest cake?
Vegan Black Forest cake.
I mean, I think there's puddings and then there's cakes. You know what I mean? For like,
depending on how much you love the person, a pudding.
Maybe it's a new person and you really want this relationship to work, so you're like, cake. Or maybe you're like, it's a new person and I'm not sure which way this is gonna go. So it's just gonna be pudding for now.
Or maybe you're showing more people some love, like a family or friends or your coworkers or something, if you're a really great coworker and you wanna make everyone a cake. Maybe a cake is a little ambitious for a date night, but maybe you have leftovers. Maybe they can take some home. Maybe you just are the kind of person who loves baking cakes as well, which you might be. Whereas a cake is like a big thing for me to make.
And this cake screams date night though. There's cherries, there's whipped cream, it's chocolate. It's awesome.
It's Black Forest cake. Like, it's just decadence. And the good thing about this recipe too is that you can make everything in advance. So the cake actually tastes even a little better after it's spent some time in the fridge, and everything has to be cool anyway to compile it. So you can make the cake in advance. Your mom's actually made this a couple of times where she's frozen the cake.
She just made it for my birthday this past December. Yeah.
You can make the cake in advance, make the cherries in advance, make the whipped cream frosting, and then when you're ready, you can put it all together. And I don't consider myself a baker. So I'm very proud of myself when I make a cake and make it look half decent. If I can make this cake, I think you can too. And a lot of you have actually, and have told us that you love it. So we'll toss up some of those comments. And if you have tried it, or if you do try it, then leave a comment for us down below and let us know how you liked it.
Tell us how your date liked it. Is there anything else to say about the cake? Or
I don't know, chocolate, cherries, whipped cream.
Speaks for itself. Here, I'll make you a cracker and we'll just roll some footage and show the cake.
Have you look at
Okay.
some nice like fork drops.
All right, last one, recipe number 5. I mean, we've thrown in some bonus ones as we normally do, but number 5, I don't know. What is it? Another dessert?
It is sort of a dessert. Vegan crepes,
Oh.
which are kind of more of a breakfast thing.
Well, if your date goes really well and you need a breakfast idea.
Then you've got some vegan crepes. You could have them for dessert. Maybe you have a date morning.
Wow.
Or like it didn't progress that way. It was just a planned like breakfast date.
If you show up at your date's house and crepes are already in the fridge, you could make them for a dessert though. They don't have to be a breakfast, right?
No, yeah.
Because they're sweet.
Maybe that's what I was thinking. I don't remember. I was just like, crepes, that's a romantic thing. I think it's French, Paris, crepes, they're like lacy, you can have fillings
More
on them,
adjectives.
drizzles. You can make them in front of someone and you're gonna be like swirling the pan and like flipping and filling and drizzling. It's very impressive.
I'm impressed just listening to you.
This recipe is for whole wheat crepes.
Oh, so good.
And I try to use whole wheat flour as much as I can for just a little bit more nutrition, but you could make these with white all-purpose flour as well, and they will work. These ones are, it's a strawberry sauce, a warm strawberry sauce, and some bananas inside. And then I use my vegan Nutella, my hazelnut spread, as a chocolate drizzle.
That's another good honorable mention.
Yeah, the hazelnut spread is kind of like how Nutella is pretty firm out of the fridge, but what I do to make it a chocolate sauce, I just add a bit of plant milk to it and heat it up quickly, and then it becomes a drizzle. So it's like a multi-purpose recipe.
It's so good.
And that toasted hazelnut flavor.
That's a date night. So you put that on, or a date morning. You put it on your crepes, and wow, that is going to be good.
And the interesting thing about our video for these crepes, I did a little test because usually in crepe recipes, you'll notice that it'll tell you to make the batter and then let it sit in the fridge for a half hour to chill. And that's something that I just always disregarded when I made crepes because I was like, dude, does this really need to be in the fridge for a half hour? In the video, I test that out. You can watch that video and see what the results were of if the chilled batter really does make enough of a difference. So you have a make-ahead option with these crepes where you can make the batter in advance and then just have it in the fridge. And that way, if the date goes well, then you've got breakfast prepped. And if the date doesn't go well, you still have crepes in the morning.
I mean, win-win, really. You can't go wrong there. We have some honorable mentions.
I'm pretty sure our dog treats were a Valentine's video.
We released them on Valentine's Day, and they've been huge. And people love their dogs, and we love that you love your dogs. And we wanted to help you by giving you this dog treat recipe. So that's one.
If you want to say Happy Valentine's Day to your dogs, that dog treat recipe is one to look into.
We also have a chocolate chip cookie, which is delicious and so soft and gooey. Who doesn't love a chocolate chip cookie?
And you can actually make that chocolate chip cookie. It's an almond flour, gluten-free, vegan cookie, and you can make it into a heart and do like the really kind of cliche, very cute chocolate chip cookie heart. So I might actually do a little short on that. We'll maybe have that come out on Valentine's Day. Is that a Thursday? Does it work out?
Valentine's Day is Friday. So
okay, so maybe the Thursday before. Then we'll have a little short come out of that cookie because that'll be fun to make. Because I do make special things for you and I can surprise you with a heart cookie because I'm cute that way.
What are some other honorable mentions? We've done cookies, we've done dog treats, we've done tofu Alfredo, we've done charcuterie board.
I think you made me pad thai on a Valentine's Day.
We have a pad thai.
Not the most, like you wouldn't think of that as a romantic meal, but it's like
takeout.
takeout.
Yeah, normally
it's
you
like
go
fun.
out for pad thai, so to make it at home is a little extra something special. That's nice to
Make
do.
it seem like I don't do anything for you.
I'm just teasing. Every day is a date night with you. Seriously. We do everything together. We scrabble, we cook, we clean, we go for walks.
Let us know in the comments what your romantic meal ideas are, what your date night favorites are, what your kind of sexy food list is.
And what adjectives you use to describe your food. Sexy, creamy, saucy,
Succulent, savory.
savory, lacy, silky, smooth. But also leave a comment if you make any of these 5 or any of the honorable mentions and let us know how they go. Let us know if you make the crepes. So next week's video, is it gonna be?
Is it gonna be? It's a breakfast and it's a freezable breakfast burrito that you can meal prep. And I've been wanting to get a recipe like this out for a while.
You can make breakfast ahead for all week long, which gives you more time for these date night recipes.
Yeah, I think you guys are gonna like that one. So breakfast burritos coming up next. Like, comment, share, all of those things that help our channel to grow.
I just dropped my... Well, they know the sign off.
Thanks so much for being here.
Sorry.